G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do.
Well, hi guys. Well, we are on the east coast of the United States and we are in the state of Connecticut in a beautiful little town called Deep River. It's a fantastic place and we're going to be spending the day with a master watercolour artist, Mr. Alan James.
Nice to meet you, Graham.
Alan, fantastic to be here. Now, Alan's got this really beautiful little quaint studio in the middle of Deep River. It's like, how old is this building?
1830. It was, the original warehouse for the piano works down the street here.
And obviously the town's famous for pianos as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's famous for you too, as a matter of fact. We're going to be working today, we're going to be working on a piece that is from New York.
That's correct, right on 47th and Lexington.
Yeah. Your history in the past was you decided to become a full-time artist in 1999, but you're also a really well-known magician as well.
Yeah, I had a lot of years where I performed and I also had the art in the background, but the music was the bread and butter for me for a lot of years. But the art started slowly taking over as time went on, and now it's completely, I have this beautiful shop and I'm teaching all over the place and giving workshops, and it's really great. So it's taken over completely for me.
Living the dream.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's amazing, amazing. Well, I'm going to step out of shot, guys, as I normally do, and we're going to let Alan start to do what he does. I mean, this is going to be a great day. He's a very talented man and you'll have a wonderful time.
Okay, so I use, for my washes, I like to use a squirrel brush, and the company that I like the best is Da Vinci. It's a really good brush. It's made out of squirrel and it holds a lot of water. So I use that for the first big washes, and then when I get down to the second stages, I'll get the smaller brushes, and I'll use some synthetic brushes, if I need I'll use a Scola Perla brush. That's a very good brush for, it holds less water, so it keeps it tighter, it's firmer. So it does a better job of, if you need more snap in your brush, so use that. I went to China recently and I picked up too many of these brushes, but these are Chinese brushes that they're sable, red sable, and they hold a lot of water as well, so they're good. I have too many brushes. You don't need that many brushes, but I have them, and so that's basically what I use for brushes. And for paper, I like to use Arches 140-pound paper and rough surface. And the reason why I like rough is because it really shows the patina through. If you have a quick brush stroke, like a dry brush stroke, you can get some of those stippling things going on that you can see in some of there. So it really helps for that. So that's why I like to use that. And especially if you're an impressionistic artist and you like to, just brush strokes.
And you look like you got some Daniel Smith paints there as well.
I like Daniel Smith's paints a lot. I use just about anything that's high quality. I'll use Holbein, I'll use Daniel Smith, I'll use Winsor Newton. So what I got over here is, I did the pencil sketch already of a scene in New York City. It's kind of an amalgamation of what I got on my laptop and some of the other ones that I, studies. I like to do studies before I do the main one. So this would be a lot of fun. And I'll do it in 3 steps. The first wash is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to make a mess really. And when people see this, my students see this for the first time, they kind of freak out. Because it's like, how are you going to make that into a painting? Because it looks like a big mess. So I'll just start out by getting some ambiance and just getting the white of the paper away. So I'll start out with some yellow ochre. And I'll just come here in the middle, right here. And just going to swish it across. Oh, look at that. I got it all over the place over there. Oops. Don't be afraid to just slosh it down at this point. There's nothing you can do wrong at this point. Okay? And I like to do this if I'm talking to a student, because it's more educational that way. They can get more out of it. So I'm just going to go across everything. I've got some cerulean blue in here. I'll put some brown in that, just gray it down a little bit, and just knock it up in there, get it in there.
Just so really throw it on there.
Just throw it on there, yeah. You really can't do anything wrong at this stage. However, I have seen some of my students mess it up because they were overworking it, pushing it around, thinking they have to make a painting at this stage, and we're not doing the painting yet at this stage.
Well, the beauty about you being a teacher is that you've been fortunate enough to also work with a number of the really well-known watercolour artists that we know from Australia as well, Alvaro Castanet,
yeah,
Jace Bogovic, Herman Peckel as well.
Yeah, I've studied all three of those guys immensely. I love the Aussie artists. I think, in my opinion, are the best in the world. And maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but I really love what they're doing. I took a workshop from Alvaro in 2014, and I have many DVDs of all three of those, Herman Peckel, and many others. And I'm also influenced a lot by the British artists, so Yardley, Watson, James Fletcher Watson, Wesson, those guys were some of my influences as well.
Yep.
All right, so now I'm going to go down to the street level. I'm just going over some of the figures here and leaving the white of the paper, and that's kind of important to leave your highlights that you want behind. But if you forget to do that, it's okay. You can use Chinese white or you can use gouache and add your highlights at the end, at the third stage. So I'm going to make some grays down here. So I'll use some cobalt blue and some burnt sienna. And I like to talk about the colors I'm using because my students are color crazy. They always want to know what color I'm using, but it's not important. Color's not as important as value is, guys. Value is the most important thing. You can paint, like a monochromatic painting will be fine. It'll be believable painting. Color is fine and it has its place in the world, but values are way more important, guys, okay? So just remember that. All right, so that's the first stage. That's all we need to do here. I'm gonna take and grab a blow dryer and just dry this off, and we'll come back as soon as I'm ready for stage 2.
Cool.
Hi, so we finished the first stage. We got this dried off now, and that's the first wash where we put just the lightest values in. So then I'm going to come in and do the second stage and put the medium values in, and then after that I'll put the third stage will be the darkest values. So I'll grab a big number 6 Da Vinci mop brush, this same brush as I used for the first wash. We want to go with a dark value. So let's just say a value is 1 to 5. We're going to go a 5 value for this step. So I'm going to mix a little, this is French ultramarine and a little burnt sienna with a touch of alizarin crimson in there. Here I go. You can see the mixture here, probably. Nice and thick.
Got another piece that you've done called 42nd Street Pedestrians.
Yeah.
Which is similar to sort of where we're going right now, I think.
Yeah, it's right around the corner from this area here.
Yeah.
So at this stage, we're just blocking in. I'm just putting in doodads, And we want to kind of sometimes, you want to vary, you don't want it to be flat, so I'll stick some colors in there and just have fun here, guys. That's what it's all about. And so I'm just going to come down here, and because I want to have soft edges at this point down the bottom here, I'm going to use the spray gun here and get a smaller brush, okay? So it's not a spray gun, but it's a spray bottle. And I'll just give that a little zip, and that's going to soften things up. And so I want to be careful and keep my highlights, but again, if I miss out, that's okay. I will just simply use Chinese white or something. So we'll go light values in here, and I'm going to go around the people with a little bit smaller brush, and let that bleed. You want it to bleed. You want to have mystery in the painting, so you don't want to have hard edges everywhere down here. Okay. So let it bleed, like the song, the Rolling Stones song. Today's a kind of a dry day. This is like the perfect weather time of the year. This is a real good time of the year to come to this part of the world because we get the best weather and the kids all go back to school. We like that too.
Very pretty place.
Yeah.
You've got another piece called City Steam, which must have used the spray bottle in there and drawn the colour out as well.
Thank you for reminding me, Graham, because right here I want to put a little steam in the painting.
Yep.
So I'm just going to take some clear water and just swirl it around in this area here so it's wet. We'll have like a wet to wet technique over there. So when I come in with the big brush and put in, now I'll put in my warmer colors on this side, so I'll grab some alizarin crimson and a touch of French ultramarine, but more red than blue, so we have that contradiction. Cool on this side, warm on this side. So I'll just come in and start just blocking that in, and that's all we're doing at this point. It's not going to look like a painting yet, guys, okay? It's going to look like blobs of paint. And that's what I have to get through to my students a lot, is they want it to be finished at this point. And that's not when we finish the painting. We finish the painting later. So as I get down to the bottom here, I'll come a little bit darker in value, because that's the way it works in real life. We got darker values. And I want this to blend, so I'm gonna get the spray gun here, and if it works, there we go. So we're having some fun. Have fun, so, you know, that's what we're here for. Have fun. Don't get all uptight about paint and be so anal retentive. You like that word?
That was 2 words.
Yeah, that's right. You like those words? Hey, you talking to me? Hey. All right, so still going around some of these things on the right-hand side here. And now the second stage is just about done, but just a few more minutes. I'm gonna do the bottom here. So I wanna get some grays. If you mix French ultramarine and burnt sienna, you'll get a nice gray, okay? So I'm just gonna come across here like this. It's that easy, guys. Not that hard.
Looking good, looking good. You teach these workshops also at the Lyme Art Association, is that correct?
Yes, that's a historic place right here in Old Lyme, Connecticut. It's the birthplace of American Impressionism, so I was very honored when they asked me to come teach there. It's full of history. The Hudson Valley is another one that's locally that's full of history here.
Look, you've got another piece called the Chrysler Building. Tell me the story about the Chrysler Building and compared to the Empire State Building.
They were in competition to see who could be the tallest building at the time, and then the spire on the top, the Chrysler Building did it first, and then, if I know the story correctly, and then the Empire State Building pulled one over on them shortly thereafter and just added like another, how many feet, I don't know, to make it a little bit taller. So they had this little friendly competition going. It probably made someone mad, I don't know. So I'm gonna put in some of these windshields, and again, we don't want it to be flat. We wanna have variance. This is just the back of the taxi, and there's so many taxis in New York City.
Now you've got some other pieces from New York. There's one called Delmonico's.
Yeah, it's located on 56th and Beaver. It's a landmark. When I go to New York City, I take millions and millions of photographs of all the different iconic buildings and such.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fantastic colours in the work that you do. They've got one, Rainy Night in Paris, and it's wonderful. There's colours everywhere, the reds and the blues and the yellows. It looks great.
Thank you.
Your music career, you've been on the stage with the likes of people of Joan Jett, Jim Horn, Rick Derringer,
Yes.
Tommy Curiel, Michael Bolton, Willie Big-Eyed Smith, Jefferson Starship, Papa John Creech,
Yeah.
Roy Yeager, Dee Murray, and the Bachman Turner Overdrive. So you've had a fairly illustrious career in music, let alone art.
Yeah, I spent 47 years as a professional musician, along with being an artist. Gradually, the art took over, and I've retired from performing since then, the last couple of years ago. But I did get to play with some real nice players over the course of time, and that was a lot of fun. But you know, that's the life on the road. You guys know about life on the road. Everybody thinks it's really glamorous and oh my God, but you know, we run into things like lousy hotels and stuff like that. But so anyway. Yeah, I got the privilege to play with some of those greats, and it was really it was a nice career. And now this is my new thing that I'm doing now. When I started out in art, I was photorealistic artist, and I was a pencil artist when I was a kid. And it was always seemed to me like it was very laborious, and I was never really fulfilled completely until I ran into the French Impressionists. And I bought some books in the library, and I said, wow, that's what I've been looking for my whole life. I went from being a hyper-realistic painter to a impressionistic painter, because Impressionism it allows the viewer to finish the painting. And that's what really is important, I think, when you make the quantum leap from illustrator to artist, is when you can make that leap of understanding how to impress what you're looking at, instead of every single detail that's not important to maybe the focal point where you want to try to lead the eye into. I think that's really more important than getting, somebody's window on the 70th floor and their curtains in there, So, and that's what this style here, this very loose impressionistic style, really speaks to me. Well, let's do some people. I like doing people. I'm just going to put some faces in here, just really quickly. Some hands, and then that will give me, I'll see where they are, and there's probably a guy back here. Let's get again, we'll use the same colors, but we're talking about what value am I going to use. So I'm going to use like a 4.5, 5 value for this guy, and he is going to be warmer because we have cool over here, and he can contradict that with some warmth. And so here's the important part here when I'm putting figures in. You see how it's really hard-edged here? Okay, there's no mystery. We want to create mystery in the painting, so we just blur that. Just blur it. Get some water, blur that up, and blend him. Had to be connected to the things around him. So the building is the thing around him. So I want to connect him here. You see that? Boom. Okay, that's connected. Around here, around the umbrella. All right, so this next part here is going to be a lot of fun to do, and I'm probably doing it a little early, but I don't care because I can't wait to do it. It's just fun. So putting in the headlights, I'm going to use Cad Red Orange, and that's going to be the tail lights. And one there, one here, one there, and then this is my favorite part, just going like that. Flick of the wrist, boom. And if you make that noise, it works better.
I think a great example of that is you got this picture called Rainy Day at Flatiron.
Right.
Which you can see the red in the tail lights coming down onto the street. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you don't need much, to indicate, and that's the key. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for my students to get across, is to learn that.
Yes, and you do have some DVDs out that you teach people your techniques. And if people want to see those and see your work and book in for your workshops, which I think would be a lot of fun with you, what's your website address, Alan?
Oh, it's just alanjamesart.com.
So go in there, guys, and have a look at Alan's work. It really is wonderful, and it's alive. That's the thing I love about what Alan does. His work is alive.
I love teaching, by the way. I just really love teaching. I have some great students.
This beautiful little town that you live in, Deep River, there is a bar next door called Calamari. So it seems like you spend a little bit of time in there with the local characters.
Oh, yeah.
And Rusty Calamari, you've got one called Parker. It's a great little bar. I mean, that's like 3 generations of people that have owned it.
Oh, yeah. It was established in 1933. It just really represents the town.
Yeah, there's another one called Zupan.
Tom Zupan, yeah. He's one of the guys that comes in all the time. He owns a construction company in town, and so he's a nice fella. They didn't know what to make of me when I first barged into town.
Yeah.
Who is this musician, artist guy? Now they've all accepted me after being here a number of years, and they embrace the fact that I'm their town artist now. So here I am, I'm developing in the 3rd stage here. I'm just trying to get the cast of characters in there. Look at it as a play, okay?
Yeah.
And in a play, you have one main actor and you have subordinate actors. And the main actor, I'm gonna make this lady right here the main actor because she has red on, so your eye's going to go there. I placed her in the focal point, which is in this area here, where you want to do it. You want to put them off center and down below. So I'm going to do a little wet and wet technique that over here. I'm just going to spray with the spritzer, and then a little on me.
Beautiful.
And how do I look? And so this technique this is what watercolor really excels at, where we can just take a brush, and I'll take one of these Chinese brushes. After all, I did spend time over there. So I'm going to make like a green. I'll use a blue and a yellow, make a green, and I'm just going to lob that in and just wet into wet technique. So I'm just going to take the brush and hit it like that, and put some yellows in there, and some blues in there, all different colors. And it's a really cool, fun thing, you know, be a kid. Hey, that's one thing I didn't talk about yet, and that is water to pigment ratio. And that is important with watercolor. Having the right amount of water and the right amount of pigment in your brush is vital to your success. So I wanted this top of this taxi to show up a little bit better. I'll put some white gouache in there, see?
There you go.
Highlights above the cars, you see? And boom, they'll start to pop with our highlights and accents here, maybe over here. Okay, let's put some red lights in. Red attracts the eye always, so we'll put some in here, over here. And I use like a red-orange for that, not a pure red. And I'm just going to put an indication of some of the things that are going on, maybe a window here. And there's some, not too much of this. This is where you have to learn balance and the necessary restraint. And we'll do some things over here as well. So maybe some windows in, and it's fun. Isn't this fun? Life is good. And then boom, boom. See, one stroke, guys. One stroke, not 100. One. Two together, one apart. That's one of my sayings. I'm going to put some white gouache in. And we'll add some steam. This is fun to do. If you're a purist, you can use Chinese white. It's considered watercolor. This one's not. So look at this. Woo, bitey. So
Steam.
Then we got steam. So I'll just give that a little flyby, and that'll dry a lot lighter. You'll see that dry a lot lighter later. Yeah. So that's helping out there. This is what gives us mystery in the painting, right? We love mystery. We don't need everything spelled out. And this is the time I'll step back and take a look at it to see if there's anything else that needs to be done. So thanks for watching, and maybe we'll come back and just finish it up with some finishing touches.
Okay, well, from Connecticut and Deep River, the little town of Deep River, Alan, thank you so much. It was fantastic. Now, you've just put a little bit more bling on here and put your signature on there, and it looks really, really great. I mean, it's really a great day and well done.
Thank you.
You have some people you'd like to thank for helping you out to do the show as well. So who are they?
Oh, yeah. So Natalie Yonker comes to mind. She was a big help for helping me get to do this. Russ Calamari and the Calamari crew, all the people that hang out there are very supportive.
Yeah.
Ann Yetzi, a good friend of mine from Cheshire, she was a big part of helping me out in this. And so many people, I couldn't possibly remember them all. Jerry's Artorama, Lime Art Association, where I teach in both of those places, all been a big help for me.
Now, if anybody wants to come along and do your workshops, and this is a fun man, and he's very, very interesting and has a ton of information, what's your website address again?
It's alanjamesart.com.
And you can also come and see us at colourinayourlife.com.au. Come in and say hi. We've had a great time. America's great. We love the people over here.
Yeah.
Connecticut's a beautiful area as well. But we're going to head off as we normally do. And remember always, guys, make sure you put some colour in your life. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye now. See ya.
See you guys.